Bullies make fun of his crooked tooth. He becomes a dentist influencer and charges their parents a fortune. Marcus Delacroix had always hated his smile. At 17, his left canine jutted out at an awkward angle, creating a gap that seemed to announce itself every time he spoke. The tooth had been that way since childhood, a result of a fall from his bike when he was 8. His single mother, Eleanor, worked double shifts at the local diner just to keep their small apartment, and orthodontics had always been a luxury they couldn't afford. Riverside High School felt like a battlefield every morning as Marcus walked through its brick corridors. The building itself was typical of mid-sized American towns. Beige walls decorated with faded motivational posters and trophy cases displaying decades-old achievements. Marcus had attended Riverside since freshman year, but he'd never quite found his place among the social hierarchies that ruled teenage life. "Just keep your head down," he told himself every morning, clutching his worn backpack straps. "Graduate, get to college, start over." But keeping his head down had become increasingly difficult since Tyler Brennan and his crew had decided Marcus made perfect target practice for their daily entertainment. Tyler was everything Marcus wasn't. Tall, athletic, with a perfect white smile that seemed to gleam under the harsh fluorescent lights. His father owned 3 successful car dealerships across the county, and Tyler never let anyone forget it. He wore expensive sneakers and carried himself with the confidence that came from never knowing financial struggle. "Yo, fang face!" Tyler's voice boomed across the cafeteria as Marcus tried to navigate toward an empty table with his lunch tray. Marcus felt his stomach clench, but he kept walking. The cafeteria was packed with students, their conversations creating a dull roar that somehow never quite drowned out Tyler's voice when it was directed at him. "I'm talking to you, vampire." "Voy." Tyler stood up from his table, flanked by his usual companions, Jake Morrison, a stocky wrestler with dead eyes, and Cody Fisher, whose main talent seemed to be laughing at everything Tyler said. The cafeteria began to quiet as heads turned toward the brewing confrontation. Marcus stopped walking, his grip tightening on the plastic tray. His lunch, a sad sandwich and an apple, suddenly looked even less appetizing. "What's wrong, Marcus? Cat got your tongue? Or are you afraid that tooth might cut someone?" Tyler's grin was predatory as he approached. "Don't engage. Just walk away." Marcus had learned this lesson the hard way. 3 months ago, when Tyler first started targeting him, Marcus had tried standing up for himself verbally. The result had been swift and humiliating. Tyler and his friends had cornered him after school and made him apologize while filming it on their phones. "Come on, Fangs, give us a smile," Cody chimed in, pulling out his phone. "I want to show my followers what a real monster looks like." Marcus turned and walked toward the exit, leaving his untouched lunch behind. Behind him, he heard Tyler's laughter echoing off the cafeteria walls, followed by the sound of his tray clattering to the floor. "That's right, run away. Maybe you should hibernate until you can afford to fix that mess." The hallway felt safer, though Marcus knew the safety was temporary. Tyler and his crew had made the past 3 months a living hell, and it was getting worse. What had started as occasional taunts had escalated to daily humiliation. They'd trip him in hallways, knock books from his hands, and worst of all, constantly photograph and film him without permission, posting the content online with cruel captions about his tooth. Marcus slipped into the library, his sanctuary during lunch periods. Mrs. Patterson, the elderly librarian, looked up from her desk and offered a sympathetic smile. She'd never said anything directly, but Marcus suspected she knew what was happening. He settled into his usual corner table and pulled out his biology textbook, but the words blurred together. His mind wandered, as it often did, to fantasies of revenge. Sometimes he imagined returning to school transformed, taller, stronger, with perfect teeth. Other times he pictured Tyler getting his comeuppance in elaborate ways. Someday, Marcus thought, touching his crooked tooth with his tongue, someday things will be different. What Marcus didn't share with anyone, not even his mother, was his obsession with dental medicine. It had started as a way to understand his own condition, researching why his tooth had grown the way it did and what could be done about it. But the more he learned, the more fascinated he became. He'd spent countless hours watching dental procedure videos online, reading orthodontic journals, and studying the anatomy of human teeth. His bedroom was filled with dental textbooks he'd found at used bookstores and borrowed from the public library. He could identify different types of malocclusion, understood the mechanics of tooth movement, and had even taught himself basic dental photography techniques. In his desk drawer, hidden beneath school assignments, was a folder containing his acceptance letter to the State University's pre-dental program. He'd applied in secret, using his part-time job wages to pay the application fees. The scholarship he'd earned would cover most of his tuition, and he'd already researched the top dental schools in the country. But that was still a year away. For now he had to survive Tyler Brennan and the daily gauntlet of Riverside High. The harassment escalated the following week during PE class. Coach Henderson had divided the class into teams for basketball, and Marcus found himself on the opposing team from Tyler's group. It was a recipe for disaster. "Guard the vampire," Tyler shouted as they took positions. "Don't let him bite anyone." The gymnasium erupted in laughter. Even some students who normally ignored Marcus were snickering, caught up in the mob mentality that Tyler seemed to inspire. Marcus tried to focus on the game, but Tyler made it impossible. Every time Marcus touched the ball, Tyler would make exaggerated gestures of fear, shouting things like, "Watch out for the fangs," or "Someone get some garlic." The breaking point came when Tyler deliberately threw the ball directly at Marcus's face during a play. The impact sent Marcus stumbling backward, his lip splitting against his crooked tooth. Blood began to flow, and the irony wasn't lost on anyone in the gym. "Oh no, he's bleeding! The vampire is bleeding!" Tyler performed an elaborate show of mock terror, while Jake and Cody howled with laughter. Coach Henderson blew his whistle, but his intervention was half-hearted. "Brennan, ease up. Delacroix, go get cleaned up." Walking to the nurse's office, with a bloody lip and the echoes of laughter following him, Marcus felt something shift inside him. The humiliation was reaching a critical mass, building pressure like water behind a dam. This has to stop. That night, Marcus sat in his bedroom, staring at his reflection in a small mirror. The cut on his lip had stopped bleeding, but it served as a stark reminder of his daily reality. He pulled out his phone and opened the social media app where Tyler and his friends had been posting their vampire content. The latest video had 43 likes and dozens of comments, all at Marcus's expense. Students from school were tagging their friends, sharing in the collective mockery of his appearance. The pain of seeing his deepest insecurity turned into entertainment for others was almost unbearable. But as Marcus scrolled through the comments, something unexpected happened. He began to notice something that Tyler and his followers apparently couldn't see: the irony of their perfect smiles hiding their ugly personalities. Someday, Marcus thought again, but this time the fantasy felt different, more concrete, more possible. He closed the social media app and opened his laptop, navigating to a website he'd bookmarked months ago, the American Dental Association's portal for dental student resources. He'd been reading their publications religiously, learning about new techniques, technologies, and trends in the field. Recently, he'd discovered a growing movement of young dentists who were building massive online followings by documenting their work, educating people about oral health, and even performing dramatic smile transformations. These dental influencers were earning substantial incomes, not just from their practices, but from brand partnerships, sponsored content, and educational courses. An idea began to form: dangerous, ambitious, but potentially brilliant. Marcus opened a new document on his laptop and began typing. If Tyler wanted to make his tooth the center of attention, then Marcus would give him attention he'd never forget. The plan would take years to execute, but Marcus had something that Tyler lacked: patience, intelligence, and a genuine passion for his chosen field. While Tyler coasted through high school on his father's money and natural charisma, Marcus would be building something real. The next few months passed in a blur of continued harassment and secret preparation. Tyler's campaign against Marcus intensified, particularly after he discovered that Marcus had been accepted to college with a scholarship. "Look at this," Tyler announced during lunch, holding up his phone. "Fangface thinks he's going to college. What are you going to study, Marcus? Dental hygiene, perfect career choice for someone who needs the help." The cafeteria erupted in laughter, but Marcus noticed something different in his own reaction. Instead of the familiar burn of shame, he felt something closer to anticipation. Let them laugh now. The most devastating incident occurred 3 weeks before graduation. Tyler had organized what he called Vampire Day, encouraging other students to wear plastic fangs and post photos with captions mocking Marcus. The hashtag #VampireVirus started trending locally, with dozens of students participating. Marcus arrived at school to find his locker decorated with fake blood and garlic cloves. Students he'd never even spoken to were pointing and laughing as he walked down the hallway. The humiliation was complete and public. But instead of hiding in the library, Marcus did something unexpected. He pulled out his phone and started documenting everything: the locker, the students wearing fangs, the cruel hashtags, Tyler's smirking face as he posed for photos. "What are you doing, Dracula?" Tyler noticed Marcus taking pictures. "Collecting evidence," Marcus replied calmly, his voice steady for the first time in months. Tyler looked confused, his confidence wavering slightly. "Evidence of what?" Marcus smiled, deliberately showing his crooked tooth. "You'll see." That night, Marcus created social media accounts under a new name, Dr. Marcus Delacroix, DDS, Future. The bio read, "Pre-dental student documenting. The journey from bullied to brilliant. Smile transformation coming soon." He uploaded the photos from school, along with a carefully crafted post. "This is what bullying looks like in 2024. But here's what they don't know. This crooked tooth is about to become my greatest asset. Follow along as I transform not just my smile but my entire life. From fangs to fortune, dental school bound, Transformation Tuesday." The post went viral locally within hours. College flew by in a focused blur. Marcus threw himself into his studies. With an intensity that impressed even his professors, he maintained a perfect GPA while working part-time at a local dental office, absorbing every aspect of the business from patient care to practice management. But Marcus's real work happened online. His social media presence grew steadily as he documented his pre-dental journey, sharing educational content about oral health, interviewing successful dentists, and building anticipation for his own transformation. He'd also been quietly gathering information about Tyler and his friends. Social media made it easy. Tyler regularly posted about his father's dealerships, family vacations, and expensive purchases. Jake had followed his father into the construction business, while Cody worked at his family's restaurant chain. More importantly, Marcus discovered that all three families had significant dental needs. Tyler's father posted complaints about expensive dental work for his family. Jake's construction business employed dozens of workers who needed dental insurance. Cody's restaurant chain required health certificates and employee wellness programs. By his junior year of dental school, Marcus had amassed over 100,000 followers across platforms. Dental companies began reaching out for partnerships. He was invited to speak at conferences. His content about smile transformations and confidence building resonated with people around the world. But the real transformation happened during his final year, when Marcus finally got his own orthodontic treatment. Through the school's clinic, the process was documented extensively, turning his personal journey into compelling content that attracted even more followers. The day Marcus's braces came off, he posted a side-by-side comparison photo that broke the internet in their small town. The caption read, "From Fang to Fabulous." The boy they called Vampire is now Dr. Delacroix. Grand opening of Delacroix Dental next month. Premium cosmetic dentistry for premium prices. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Local news stations wanted interviews. His follower count exploded past 500,000. Brand deals poured in, and then the phone calls started coming. Tyler's father was the first to reach out, inquiring about family dental plans for his dealership employees. The irony was almost too perfect. The man whose son had tormented Marcus about his teeth was now essentially begging for his services. Marcus's receptionist transferred the call to his personal line. "Dr. Delacroix," Marcus answered, his voice professional and confident. Yes, this is Robert Brennan from Brennan Auto Group. I heard you're opening a practice here in town, and I wanted to discuss dental benefits for our employees." Marcus leaned back in his chair, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. A perfect smile now, thanks to years of treatment and maintenance. "Of course, Mr. Brennan, I'd be happy to discuss our premium services. My rates start at $500 for basic consultations, with cosmetic procedures ranging from $2,000 to $15,000 per tooth, depending on complexity." There was a pause on the other end. "Those seem quite high for our area. Mr. Brennan, I'm sure you understand that premium services command premium prices. My expertise and social media presence have made me quite sought after. In fact, I have a waiting list that extends 6 months out." This was true. Marcus's online fame had created genuine demand that stretched far beyond their small town. "I see. Well, my son Tyler mentioned he might know you from high school." Marcus's smile widened. "Oh yes, Tyler and I have quite a history. Please give him my regards. I'd be happy to offer him a consultation, at my standard rates, of course." The conversation continued for 20 minutes, with Marcus expertly navigating between professional courtesy and subtle dominance. By the end, Robert Brennan had agreed to Marcus's terms, essentially guaranteeing that Tyler's family would be contributing significantly to the fortune built on the very feature they'd once mocked. Similar calls followed from Jake's family construction, business and Cody's restaurant chain. Word traveled fast in small towns, and Marcus's reputation, both as a skilled dentist and social media personality, made him the obvious choice for anyone seeking dental services. The grand opening of Delacroix Dental was a media event. Local news crews covered the ribbon cutting, and Marcus's online followers tuned in via live stream to watch their favorite dental influencer achieve his dream. The clinic itself was a masterpiece of modern design, sleek, high-tech, and deliberately intimidating to those who remembered the quiet boy with the crooked tooth. Marcus had spared no expense, knowing that every detail would be photographed and shared online. Tyler showed up to the opening, though whether by choice or family pressure was unclear. He looked uncomfortable in his ill-fitting suit, his once confident demeanor replaced by something approaching nervousness. Marcus spotted him near the back of the crowd and approached with the grace of someone who'd spent years preparing for this moment. "Tyler Brennan," Marcus said, extending a perfectly manicured hand. "How wonderful to see you." Tyler shook the offered hand, his eyes taking in Marcus's transformation. Gone was the shy, awkward teenager. In his place stood a confident professional, tall, well-dressed, successful, and sporting a smile that could have graced magazine covers. "Marcus, I mean Dr. Delacroix, congratulations on all this." Tyler gestured vaguely at the bustling clinic. "Thank you. You know, I owe you a debt of gratitude." Tyler looked confused. "I'm sorry." Marcus's smile never wavered. "Your dedication to pointing out my dental imperfections really inspired my career choice. In a way, you're responsible for all of this success." The words were delivered with such professional warmth that Tyler couldn't tell if he was being thanked or threatened. That's great, man. Really great. I hope we'll be seeing you as a patient soon. I understand your father has signed your family up for our premium care package. I'm particularly excited to work on some of those cosmetic improvements we discussed back in high school." Tyler's hand unconsciously moved to his mouth. "Cosmetic improvements? Oh yes. I've been following your social media posts for years. Purely professional interest, you understand. I've noticed some significant dental issues developing, slight overbite, some yellowing, early signs of recession, nothing that can't be fixed, of course, but it will require extensive work." Marcus pulled out his phone and showed Tyler a screenshot of one of his own recent posts. The image zoomed in on Tyler's smile with professional annotations highlighting various problem areas. "I've actually been using your photos in my educational content about the importance of early intervention. You've been quite helpful in demonstrating what happens when dental issues are ignored." Tyler stared at the screen, seeing his own face dissected with clinical precision by the same person he'd once humiliated for having dental problems. "Of course, all of this is correctable," Marcus continued. "My comprehensive smile makeover package runs about $25,000, but given our history, I'd be willing to document your transformation for my social media channels. The exposure would be valuable for both of us." The ultimate irony wasn't lost on Tyler. The boy he'd tormented for his appearance was now positioned to profit substantially from fixing Tyler's own dental flaws while broadcasting the process to hundreds of thousands of followers. I'll think about it," Tyler managed. "Excellent. My receptionist will be in touch to schedule your consultation. I'm booking new patients 6 months out, but I'll make sure to fit you in sooner." Professional courtesy. As Tyler walked away, Marcus felt a satisfaction that went far beyond mere revenge. He'd transformed his deepest source of shame into his greatest strength, built a successful career, and positioned himself as the very person his former tormentors now needed to approach with respect and substantial payment. The following months brought a steady stream of familiar faces through Marcus's clinic doors. Jake Morrison came in complaining of tooth pain, only to discover he needed extensive work that would cost thousands. Cody Fisher's family restaurant required health inspections that Marcus now partly oversaw through his position on the county dental board. Each appointment was professional, courteous, and expertly documented for Marcus's social media channels, with patient consent, of course. His followers loved the Transformation Tuesday content, watching as Marcus helped patients achieve confident smiles. But the most satisfying moment came during Tyler's first appointment. Sitting in the dental chair, vulnerable and dependent, Tyler was a far cry from the confident bully who'd once ruled the high school cafeteria. "This might feel a bit uncomfortable," Marcus said, adjusting the overhead light to shine directly on Tyler's face, a perfect reversal of all those times Tyler had put Marcus under scrutiny. "Dr. Delacroix," Tyler said as Marcus prepared his instruments. "I want to apologize for high school. That stuff we did, it wasn't right." Marcus paused, his hands steady as he considered his response. This was the moment he'd fantasized about for years. Tyler Brennan forced to apologize, vulnerable and at his mercy. "Apology accepted, Tyler. You know, those experiences taught me valuable lessons about resilience and determination. In a way, you helped make me who I am today." "Really?" "Absolutely. Every time you called me Fangface or Vampire, you were actually advertising my future specialty. Every photo you posted of my crooked tooth was building my brand. You were my first marketing team, and you worked for free." Tyler laughed nervously, unsure if Marcus was being sincere or subtly cruel. "Now," Marcus continued, snapping on his gloves with theatrical precision, "let's see what we can do about that overbite. This is going to be a very educational experience for both of us." As Marcus began Tyler's examination, his dental camera captured high-definition images that would later become part of a case study presentation titled "From Bully to Beautiful, a Comprehensive Smile Transformation." The boy with the crooked tooth had become the man who charged a fortune to fix everyone else's smiles, and in the most poetic justice of all, his former tormentors were now lining up to pay him for the privilege. Marcus Delacroix had discovered, "So that the best